Welcome back to today's Explainer. We're heading way up north today, into Himachal Pradesh and beyond, right into the mesmerizing landscape of Leh Ladakh. Now, this isn't just your standard top 10 travel guide. Oh no. We're going to take those classic, beautiful spots and build them into a really cohesive hub-and-spoke adventure. Basically, we'll use the central town of Leh as our base camp to branch out and explore a region where incredible culture and just absolutely unparalleled natural beauty collide. If you're the kind of person who loves a structured approach to mapping out a massive journey, you are in the exact right place. But before we start mapping our routes, let's take a look at this number, 3,000. That is 3,000 meters above sea level. That's exactly where this cold desert sits. That sheer altitude makes Ladakh a pretty extreme environment, but honestly, that's exactly why it holds something so special for true travelers. People often say that if you haven't done the Leh Ladakh road trip, you haven't truly experienced what a road trip is meant to be. It's basically a rite of passage. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our geographical roadmap for today's Explainer. We're going to cover the ultimate cold desert trip, the pristine lakes of Ladakh, the high passes and Nubra Valley, exploring Central Ladakh town, checking out some spiritual sights and sunsets, and finally, Magnetic Hill and a few sacred stops.
Section 1. The ultimate cold desert trip. Setting the scene.
So, the classic route begins in Manali. Getting from there up to Leh town covers a distance of about 427 kilometers. Now, obviously, this is not some quick highway sprint. This journey typically takes a very comfortable 1 to 2 days to complete. It really grounds you geographically and mentally, mostly because this specific route is widely considered to be one of the most beautiful road trips in the entire world. It literally draws millions of tourists every single year. Section 2. Pristine Lakes of Ladakh, Pangong versus Tsomariri. All right, so once you've arrived and actually settled into Leh, it's time to venture out on our first major spoke outside the main town. And this brilliantly illustrates the kind of contrasting experiences Ladakh has to offer. On one hand, you have the famous Pangong Lake. It's roughly 220 kilometers from Leh, taking about 5 to 6 hours to reach. It's bustling, it offers fantastic overnight camping, and yeah, it's incredibly famous for being the shooting location of the cinematic hit movie 3 Idiots. But compare that to Tsomariri Lake, and you get a completely different vibe. Tsomariri is accessed via a different route, usually through Chumathang, and it is a true hidden gem. Because it's a bit more secluded, it sees way less tourism, which makes it just perfectly tranquil. But what makes Tsomariri truly fascinating isn't just the water itself, it's the human element. You see, the Chongpa are nomadic tribes who live right near this secluded lake. They live these incredibly simple, traditional lives, just moving with their herds of horses and cattle. Choosing to visit Tsomariri over the busier lakes gives you this redder, really beautiful glimpse into a way of life that has essentially remained unchanged for generations. Moving on to Section 3, High Passes and Nubra Valley. Across the roof of the world. To get up to the northern valleys, you have to cross Khardungla Pass. This is an absolute must-do. It's the world's second highest motorable road, sitting just 38 kilometers from Leh town. To truly understand the extreme contrast of this cold desert environment, picture this. Even if you are traveling in the peak summer months, we're talking May and June, you will literally be driving through towering snow walls that are 5 to 6 feet high. It's just a spectacular, thrilling experience. Let's move to and see how this builds as we descend into the Nubra Valley. Just a 3 to 4 hour drive past the La Pass brings you to Diskit village to visit the Diskit monastery. The major highlight here is standing right before a colossal 32-meter tall statue of the Maitreya Buddha. It gives you sweeping, bird's-eye views of the whole valley. Then, if you continue just a bit further to Hunter village, the landscape dramatically shifts once again, this time into these incredible, sprawling sand dunes. Yep, you heard that right. Sand dunes in a freezing, high-altitude desert. No way, right? And what makes Hunter even more astonishing are the residents you'll find there. Double-humped camels, also known as Bactrian camels. These animals were brought here all the way from Afghanistan well before India's independence. Today, they're a huge attraction. Taking a camel safari through these high-altitude dunes is a totally unique experience you simply can't miss. You can even stay overnight in the area to really soak the whole vibe in. Section 4. Exploring Central Ladakh town, a walk through history. After all those long, breathtaking drives, let's bring our focus back to the hub of our journey. We're basically trading in our vehicles for an intimate, pedestrian-paced experience right in the center of Leh. The great thing about Leh town is just how densely packed its cultural sites are. You can easily knock out a half-day walking tour. Start right at the Premier Mall Road, an absolute must-visit. From there, it's just a leisurely 30-minute walk up to the beautiful Leh Palace. Not only do you get spectacular panoramic views of the whole town from up there, but you can also explore a really fascinating local museum right inside the palace itself. Once you're done, walk another 10 to 15 minutes and you reach the stunning Tissimo Gampa. It's just a highly efficient, deeply historical walking itinerary. Next up, Section 5, Spiritual Sights and Sunsets, Architecture and Serenity. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it compares two very different spiritual experiences. Take Thixi Monastery, for example. This is one of the largest and most beautiful monasteries in Ladakh, defined by its massive Tibetan architecture. Because of its sheer scale, you really need to dedicate at least 2 to 3 hours just to explore it properly. On the flip side, we have Shanti Stupa. This site offers phenomenal panoramic sunset views, and it's conveniently located just a short, walkable distance from Leh town. It's highly recommended to time your visit to Shanti Stupa specifically for the evening so you can catch that perfect sunset. Looking back at places like Thixi Monastery, it's absolutely crucial to remember that these aren't just pretty stops on a map. As the source material notes, you get a true glimpse of Ladakh and Tibetan architecture, perfect for those who love historical buildings. They really are monumental pieces of living history. Walking through them is literally like stepping back in time. Finally, Section 6, Magnetic Hill and Sacred Stupas, Mysteries of the Road. Okay, I want to ask you a question, and I want you to really think about it. Can your car roll uphill with the engine completely turned off? Sounds completely impossible, right? Well, in Ladakh, it's actually a phenomenon you can go and test for yourself. This brings us to the famous Magnetic Hill. It's basically a practical physics experiment you get to do on your own road trip. You literally pull over, park your vehicle inside a specifically painted box on the road, turn off your engine, and watch in total disbelief as your car mysteriously begins to move and climb the uphill road all on its own. It's a huge tourist attraction and an absolute must-try experiment. So, the crucial point is how you actually structure this final day trip. Because on the exact same route as Magnetic Hill, you will find Gurudwara Sri Patar Sahib. It is a highly revered, really sacred stop, so it makes perfect logistical sense to bundle these two experiences together, paying your respects and experiencing some deep serenity at this holy site, while also chasing the mind-bending mystery of Magnetic Hill. And just like that, we've reached the end of our geographical roadmap. We've covered a staggering amount of ground today. We've looked at massive snow walls, hidden tranquil lakes, towering statues, walking paths through ancient palaces, and literally roads that pull your car uphill. So I leave you with this final thought. From freezing snow walls to high-altitude desert dunes, which route of this 3,000-meter-high cold desert will you conquer first? Grab a map, start planning your hub-and-spoke adventure, and get ready for the road trip of a lifetime. Thanks so much for joining me on this Explainer.